One of the things I've been thinking about more about in my own life is the importance of reflection, something that we never really want to do, but also benefits us so much when we actually do it. This last week, I was watching an Ali Abdaal video to help with my motivation, as well as to help me focus more on, not wasting time. And if you want, I highly recommend checking out his channel and one of the most recent videos, Stop Wasting Time. And the first thing he actually talks about in that video is the importance of reflection. So of course, one of the easiest ways to actually do reflection is through a journal. And it's something that I was actually pretty good at. A few years ago when I was living in Kazakhstan, I was a volunteer there for my church, and it was an awesome experience. And when I was actually there, I kept a pretty good daily journal. I mean, for about almost 2 years, I had a daily journal that went over the things that I did during the day, cool things that stood out, interesting food that I ate, and now I probably end up journaling about once a month. And one of the key things with the journal is the ability for us to kind of look back and see what's been working and what's not. It also allows us to kind of dream a little, see what we actually want to do and work towards, and kind of set that in our minds as something we want to accomplish. I think we can better align our goals and our vision for our life as we start journaling and as we start reflecting back on our daily life. I mean, think about it. In our day-to-day life, there are so many things that are battling for our attention. The more time you spend hearing and listening to other people's voices, the less you hear your own. You have the news constantly trying to feed you new information about different things that are going on around the country. You have YouTube videos and entertainment that are constantly fighting for your views, for your likes, your subscribes, for everything. You have audio, podcasts, everything can be going on at the same time. And like in the country song Noise, there's so much of it going around. And with a smartphone in our pocket at every second of every day, there's no shortage of voices that can be heard. When thinking about journaling, I look towards a lot of different historical figures. You think of famous people that kept journals that actually give us insight as to what life was like at that time. Journals are where we get a majority of the information on some of these amazing people, whether it be in their own journal or the journals of the people that were closest to them. We were able to see what life was like back in those times and learn from what they accomplished and what they worked towards, or how certain circumstances came to be. Take one of the most important diaries of all time and in history, the diary of Anne Frank. Her father said after publishing, "For me, it was a revelation. There was revealed a completely different Anne to the child that I had lost. I had no idea the depths of her thoughts and feelings." And in Anne Frank's own words, she wrote, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." Nowadays, we have access to all sorts of different journals and studies and knowledge. Whether it be an audio, video recording, Instagram post, or an actual written journey, there's so many ways to document your life and reflect on what you're actually doing and living. And it can be important for down the road when you want to look back and remember the good old days. Maybe it will even be something for your grandkids to learn from. So for me, I write on an online journaling website called Penzu. It's a completely free application. You're welcome to check that out in the link down below. But I generally just kind of go through and write my thoughts and feelings whenever I feel prompted, or whenever I want to kind of refocus my energy or refocus on what I want to do. It's something that I really like because I have access to at any point in the day where I have my phone, or if I just have a computer handy. I can sit down for about 15 to 20 minutes, type out the different things that have gone on over the past week or over the past day, as well as kind of plan towards the future. Something that I've done with this show that I've really enjoyed and started to do more and more of is kind of just every Sunday look back and reflect on what happened during the week. Did I accomplish what I set out to accomplish? And did I do what I wanted to do? And ultimately, yeah, I fall short and fail just like everybody else, but it kind of helps me set ideas and look forward towards the new week. I kind of set a little checklist to kind of see what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. And then throughout the week, I can kind of look back on that when I'm bored or have nothing to do. And that's ultimately what I end up doing. So I really would encourage you to kind of start your own daily journal. And later in the video, we're going to get into a challenge over the next 30 days that you can participate. And hopefully we can share our ideas here in the upcoming month. And of course, with reflection, I think there also goes goal setting, because we get to look at the progress and things that we want to accomplish and ultimately work towards those things. And a few years back, I was listening to a podcast, and granted, I know I'm terrible at remembering names and shows and things like that and where I heard these things. I promise it doesn't come from me. A lot of the times it's something I hear and then just ultimately take to heart and want to pass on to you guys. They talked about the importance of having a 5-year plan for your life. And it essentially started me on this journey to create this show. The idea was to envision your life and what it would be like 5 years down the road. And honestly, I think that can be whatever you want it to be. And if you check out some of the last few videos, it's something that's kind of really stood out to me in having a vision and having the motivation to actually accomplish those things. So whether it be financial, career, or family oriented, if everything went your way, what would your life be like in exactly 5 years? It does two things for you. First, it gives you a direction for your life. It gives you a path to somewhat follow. And whether that path is a straight line or more likely, it's going to consist of tons of bumps and curves and unexpected drops and climbs, it's going to be different than what you think. It allows you to paint a picture of what you want your life to be like. And second, it hopefully helps fuel your drive and desire to actually work towards it. It helps you see what you're actually working towards and the why behind it. It helps you get on your feet and helps you work towards something that you actually want to accomplish and work for. Whether it be anything in your life, you get to set the direction for that goal. And of course, for me, journaling helps me become even more focused because I get to look back and see, did I do what I wanted to do or did I fall short? What things are the most important and most pressing matters that I need to tend to this next week? And which ones can I kind of move to the side or maybe didn't work out for me? It gives us time to see the progress that we've actually made and celebrate those small wins like we talked about last week. See what has been accomplished and what we want to accomplish in the short term so that we can ultimately get there in the long term. I constantly start talking about things that I want to accomplish in my journal, things that I notice in my own life and in my own behavior that I either want to fix or correct, or maybe even compliment or kind of brag about things that I'm doing well. I usually detail a couple of cool or interesting things throughout the week and things that happen in my family's life just for posterity's sake, and then I kind of just start daydreaming. I just start writing about different things that I want to have happen, or maybe different ideas or goals that I want to have in my own life. And so that's why I really like journaling and really would encourage you to either pick up and start a journal or continue doing so if you haven't already. So jumping back into reflection and as well as looking towards the future, how they kind of go hand in hand with each other. In that Ali Abdaal video of Stop Wasting Time, he talks about having a vision board and that he had never done one in his life, but had always heard that it was beneficial and kind of helped other people see what they want to accomplish and kind of having that daily reminder of what they want to go for. So naturally, I decided to create my own vision board and I'm going to share it with you guys now. So here it is, my vision board. Here's something that's just a little goofy, something that I wanted to kind of look towards and kind of remind myself throughout the week of things that I want to accomplish, the things that I'm actively working towards in my life. Right up here, you have the My Career Path podcast as well as the show, because I really do think it's important for me and hopefully it helps you guys just to kind of think of the different things and find ways that we can achieve and do more. I think there are so many opportunities out there and a lot of the times we have no idea how to do that and things just kind of fall in place for other people. And so hearing other people's stories and hearing them talk about their different work and about the different jobs that they've held throughout their life, as well as talking about inspirational things, finding motivation, I think that's really important and something that's really helped me and hopefully helped you guys as well. So that's something that is really important in my life right now, things that I'm actively working on to try to build and create and see ultimately what comes from it. Of course, right above me, I have racquetball, something that I love doing as well as playing. It's not something I'm doing very competitively. It's not like I'm participating in tournaments or anything like that, but I do have a group of guys that I'll go play with regularly, and it's always a blast to go do and something that I want to improve on and be better at. It's just a lot of fun to go around and something that I have really enjoyed. Of course, naturally, up here, I have just a general image of a family. Family is something that is very, very important to me and something that I hope is very important to you because ultimately it's the people that love and care for you the most and want to see you succeed and want to see you do well, and something that I ultimately want to continue to work for and build. It is probably one of the most important things in my life for me is my family, especially between me and my wife and just my extended family as well. Building those relationships, having amazing trips and experiences with them is one of life's joys, honestly. Over here to the right, I have journaling, something that I want to do better at. Hopefully will convince me as well as you guys to continue journaling and find ways to reflect back on the things in your life for you as well as other people that may look back and wonder, what was it like to live through COVID? So if you have, take a second and write about what that was like, because I guarantee you there's a lot of things that are going to be said and a lot of things that can be gleaned from, but your own experience and your own perspective is just as important. So down here in the bottom right, I have Age of Empires. It's one of my favorite games to play and is something that I am kind of trying to get a little bit better at. I don't know if I will ever compete or do anything with that. But maybe you have noticed in the videos I have background music playing, and a lot of the times it is from Age of Empires because I just really enjoy that game. It was a game I played with my brothers when I was younger. It's a game we still play today. Ultimately, it's as old as I am, but it's still a ton of fun and something that I really enjoy doing. There's a lot of things that go into that with the micromanaging and kind of going through it, but it's something that I ultimately want to be better at, and it's something that I really love doing. I love playing games with other people and finding ways to do better at that. Right below me is a fitness goal. Granted, I don't know if I will ever look that shredded and that good of form. I don't know if I necessarily have the body for it, but it is something that I want to work towards and have at the forefront of my life, living a healthy lifestyle. I regularly do some cycling. I regularly do racquetball, of course, and it's just something that I really ultimately want to do and lose weight. And it's something that I think is important because exercise helps us have that motivation, have that kind of dopamine rush to kind of get out and do more. And it's something that I can really work towards. Losing weight is, I think, a big part of what I want to do, and kind of having that at the forefront and on a vision board hopefully will help me kind of look towards that and be like, yes, that is something that is important. Why is it important? I want to live a long, healthy life so I can do all of these other things that I want to achieve. Let's see. Down here in the bottom right, I kind of have a teacher as well as a master's of business administration. I would love to do some conference talks or kind of like TED Talk kind of things later in the future. And maybe it would be something that would come from this podcast, or maybe it won't. But I think teaching other people and inspiring them to hopefully go and do more, have that motivation, is kind of a big goal for me, as well as it helps me. A lot of the times when I'm teaching a class or doing something, I ultimately get a lot more from it than maybe some of the students or some of the people who are taking the class. Something that has inspired me to kind of always push myself to do that. Find ways to learn and teach other people, because then it really kind of ingrains it in you. You know, you kind of take it to heart. And lastly, over here, I have just a garden. My wife and I recently bought a house, and I would love to have a garden that we can do. And we've always kind of talked about that. In working in our garden, growing fresh vegetables. We have apple trees now that are just so much fun and also a lot of work, but just having a beautiful garden and working towards that outside, kind of getting to know plants better, understanding how they grow, and doing that. That's something that I've also wanted to do. So hopefully you can kind of take this vision board for what it is. It is kind of goofy, and it's just random things that I wanted to do and accomplish in my life, but it helps me kind of see what I want to do and actually work towards and accomplish. So here's a challenge for you. Go ahead and create your own vision board. I just did this in Canva, grabbing images off the internet, creating different things and just kind of throwing them together, and I'll probably have it printed out and set up somewhere in my office or in a daily space so that I can always be reminded of what I want to work towards. And it's just a way to reflect on the things we actually want to achieve and accomplish. So take the time, create a vision board for yourself. I did mine in Canva. It's a free app that you can use for like Instagram posts and all these other things. I just pulled up a random template and just started throwing different images on it. And the more I reflect on reflecting, it isn't just enough to reflect on what we have done and what we want to do. We actually have to go and do those things that we want to accomplish. And we have to work towards our goals and make it fun. And I've thought about how we can make it more fun and enjoyable, and something that I really enjoy is video games, as it's come up in the past where I just talked about Age of Empires and different things. I grew up with a Nintendo system and a Game Boy pretty much on any road trip that we'd always go on. And I always played Nintendo with my siblings and friends, and it's something that I still enjoy and find myself wasting time with today. But I think video games are really intriguing to me because they're able to make this mundane task actually really fun. For example, take Pokemon. Whenever we would go on road trips as a kid, I would always have my Game Boy or DS or Game Boy SP on hand, and I would be playing Pokemon. Hashtag Gen 2 is the best. You can change my mind on that in the comments. But I would grind my Pokemon to level 100 in the Elite Four, and I would have my Typhlosion just spamming Flamethrower over and over and over and over again until all my Pokemon reached level 100. Was it really mundane and boring? No, because I was having a ton of fun just kind of spamming the moves to grind my Pokemon up to level 100, and virtually nothing would change. I would find myself entertained for hours and hours on end, even though I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And with our work lives, I find the same thing happens. A lot of the times we have to do the same things over and over and over again. We kind of get bored and lose interest, but how can we find ways to actually make it enjoyable and fun? And ultimately, I was watching this TED Talk by Mark Rober a few years ago where he talked about the Super Mario effect, as he put it. He explains that as kids, when we play a game like Super Mario Bros., whenever we die to like a Koopa shell or falling into a pit, we don't necessarily concern ourselves with the failure. We simply just pick up the controller and we try again. And as a result, we end up learning so much more than we would have otherwise if we just gave up and came back to it the next day. And the Super Mario effect isn't simply just persevering against our own inclination to quit. It's about reframing our own process so that we have that desire to learn. We have that desire to go and accomplish more, regardless of whatever the setbacks or failures might be. We have that end goal that we want to reach, and that becomes more important than the failures we have along the way. Another idea that Ali Abdaal talks about in the Stop Wasting Time video is having a main quest and a side quest. Of course, if you're familiar with video games, you probably know what a main quest and a side quest is, but just in case you don't, let's take Zelda for example. We have, of course, the main quest, which is retrieving the Master Sword, saving the kingdom, obtaining the Triforce. But there's also side quests like catching bugs or finding gold Skulltulas. In our lives, we have our main quest, and these are the things that we really want to accomplish, whether it be finding a meaningful career, earning the amount of money that we want in order to have a fulfilling life, take our families on vacations, whatever it may be, or having a wonderful, loving family that you can build and work towards. These are things that are ultimately one of the most important things that we do in our life, and is something that we always want to have our focus on. And once those things have had their progress done on, then we can start taking up the side quest. For this show, my main goal is to create something that people can find the inspiration and motivation to create the life that they want to have. And in order to accomplish this main quest, I read different books, I figured out different tricks and skills that hopefully help pass on to you all. The side quests are the other things that maybe aren't as important, but still things that I want to accomplish. If we go back to my vision board, it's improving at Age of Empires, learning how to garden, or ultimately living a healthier lifestyle by playing racquetball and cycling and losing weight. These are things that are important, but maybe not my main focus. These are the things that I ultimately want to accomplish, things that I can do on the side when I have downtime, and the other things like my main quest has already had the progress done on them. And so maybe you could find ways in your own life to kind of set up your main quest as well as some of side quest things that you want to accomplish. Ultimately put the main quest things that you want to do first, and then once those are done, you can start looking at the other side quests or the things that you want to accomplish. So of course, by the end of this video, hopefully you have had some ideas on what you can do for your own reflection and kind of looking towards the future. And I would invite you to do this 30-day journaling challenge with me. It's something that I'm going to be doing over the course of this next month, here starting in February, where I am going to take a daily effort to try to look at the things that I want to accomplish, write them down in a journal, and then ultimately have them hopefully accomplished by the end of the month. It's kind of like a little focus log so that I can see what I'm working towards and hopefully have my priorities straight and ultimately stop wasting time, because that's something I find myself doing on the regular, where instead of working towards the goals and the things I want to accomplish, I just kind of start wasting time, whether by playing video games, watching videos, or just kind of scrolling on Instagram in a doom scroll. So having this focus log can help you kind of track how you're working on your main quest as well as your side quest, and then in 30 days hopefully we can all come back and report on how it's hopefully helped improve our lives and find ways to help us be more focused. Of course, if you like this content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below how you journal, what things you guys are working towards, what is your main quest, and what are some side quests that you want to accomplish. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.